You've got some nerve thinking you have the right to marry my son. I will never, ever allow a person such as yourself to get married to my Eugene. Do I make myself crystal clear? You are never welcome in this house again. A mere peasant such as yourself has no business setting foot in a home like ours.
Wow, when I saw the notification that you had texted me, I was expecting to see an apology. You know, since you threw a cup of tea all over me and chased me out the door, this was quite the experience. I've never met someone so willing to out themselves as a sociopathic comic book villain before.
And why would I apologize for doing any of that? It was all for your benefit. I had to make sure you were aware of your position in society. You should be thanking me, if anything.
Excuse me? Just what do you mean by my position in society?
I'm sorry. Is English not your strong suit? I thought it was perfectly clear what I meant. In this world, you're the kind of person that gets things thrown at them when they don't know their place. Does that make things clearer to you? Or will I have to dumb it down even more to make you understand? Honestly, you can't even comprehend basic English. How did you ever get the idea in your head that you were worthy of my son?
The issue isn't my English. The issue is your nonsensical logic. First thing, my family isn't poor, so you're just plain wrong on that point. Second, even if I were poor, that wouldn't give you the right to physically assault me for coming into your home when invited.
How adorable. A person who went to nothing but public schools all the way from elementary to high school thinks they aren't poor? Furthermore, not only was your father nothing but an ordinary salaried employee, but your mother worked. She had a job rather than being a housewife. If that isn't poor, then I have no idea what is.
Yeah, we agree on that point. You have no idea what a poor family is. You think that makes a family poor? Are you serious?
Oh, you silly, silly girl. Compared to our family, all of you commoners are poor. Men who make a respectable living don't need to ship their wives off to some factory to make ends meet. I quit my job the very day that I married my husband, and I haven't earned one single solitary cent ever since. My husband runs his own company. He's an elite executive. I can get anything I could possibly want in this world with just his income alone.
Yeah, I have no doubt that you have a very comfortable lifestyle with your husband's income. He runs one of the biggest companies in the state, and I'm trying to remember what Eugene told me. How many houses do you guys own? Was it 4 or 5?
4? What do you think I am, lower middle class? We have 6 houses, thank you very much. We had 5 for some time, but we drove by a lovely little cottage a few weeks ago, so I had my husband buy it for me. My husband is absolutely wonderful to me. He buys me whatever I want. I'm sure that must be quite a shock, coming from a family who only owns a single run-down shack.
Leaving the run-down jab aside for now, yes, we own one house, but seeing as my parents both worked, it was hard for us to go on any extended vacations together anyway. We could barely ever go camping overnight, much less go and stay in a second home for the weekend.
I really don't understand how you peasants could live like that. Our family went on vacations whenever we felt like it. That's one of the benefits of inheriting a successful family business. Since you run the whole company, there's no need for you to ask for time off work. You simply take it. I've probably forgotten about more family vacations than a pauper like you has ever taken.
How lovely for you.
And my lifestyle didn't change one bit after marrying my husband. He's an incredibly talented businessman, one of the best in the country, I'd say. He managed to start up his own company, even without the financial assistance of my fabulously wealthy parents. Not only that, but he made it into a giant in the industry. Eugene inherited his genes, too. He's just as talented as his father. He took my grandparents' company and made it into an even more powerful enterprise.
Trust me, I am very aware of what a hard-working and talented man Eugene is. Leading a well-established company like that at such a young age has to come with a ton of pressure. But he doesn't ever seem like the pressure bothers him at all. He just pushes on towards whatever goal he's working on and generating results, too. It's precisely that nature of his that makes me want to support him as his wife.
Hold your tongue, peasant girl. I've tried so hard to get you to understand just how low your stature is, but you are bound and determined to avoid the plain truth. My family is descended from nobility, and our company has well over 100 years of history. My husband is one of the most successful businessmen in this state in a century, and my wonderful son is already a successful executive at his young age. Many of my relatives run their own companies as well. A lowly, impoverished girl like you has no business marrying into a family like mine. I order you to break up with my son immediately.
Well, Katrina, you've made your opposition to our marriage very clear. I also know that your reason for opposing our marriage is because I'm apparently not wealthy enough for your standards.
Yes, and that's a perfectly valid reason. Marriages are supposed to take place between people who are of the same caliber. You, my dear, are simply not up to snuff. I won't let you have my son. Don't think I don't know that you're only marrying my son for his money, you vile, greedy little girl.
Okay then, fine. We'll call the engagement off.
Good! Now never come anywhere near our house again. If people see you in the area, it'll cause local real estate values to plummet.
Understood. Goodbye, Katrina.
Alina, is it true? Are you really breaking off our engagement? My mom just called me over. She said she had something really important to talk to me about, and she told me that you accepted her request to break off our engagement? Please, Alina, tell me that isn't true.
No, it's the truth, actually. The way she was talking to me, it just made me so sick to my stomach. I couldn't just sit back and take it anymore, so I decided to put our marriage on hold for now.
Alina, I am so sorry for the way my mother spoke to you today. Don't worry, I'm gonna have a serious heart-to-heart talk with my mom about this. I'll have her apologize to you in person. So please don't do this. Don't break up with me. You're the only woman in the world for me. There's no one else I'd rather marry.
I really appreciate you saying that, Eugene. It makes me so happy to have a man love me the way you do. But I'm sorry, I just can't get married while the mother of the groom is so desperately opposed to the marriage. It just wouldn't work out. I had no choice but to call off the engagement.
But Alina!
Don't worry, Eugene. Everything's gonna be all right. Remember, I'm only calling off our engagement for now. I didn't say for good.
Wait. Really? So we're not breaking up?
She said to call the engagement off, so I did. It's as simple as that. My long-term plans remain unchanged, however. I still have every intention of marrying you. We're going to be together forever, Eugene. It might just take a wee bit longer than we originally planned. That's all.
Really? You mean it? So it's not that you don't love me anymore?
Not at all. I still love you just as much as I ever have. I just can't get over what a stupid reason your mother has for opposing our relationship. It seems like she needs a little bit of convincing. If I can convince her that I'm a fitting wife, all our troubles are solved. I'm going to make her an offer she can't refuse, so they say. When I'm through with her, she'll be begging me to marry you.
Alina, why are you quoting a mafia movie? What are you planning to do to my mother? You're kind of scaring me here.
To be honest, I haven't come up with a concrete plan yet, but I have a couple of ideas I'm working on.
Well, okay, but just as long as that concrete doesn't end up on my mom's feet, got it? Seriously, though, I don't think you need to be so concerned about having my mom's consent or not. Why can't we just ignore her? She'll come to accept it sooner or later if we just push forward. Plus, my dad is super supportive of us. I'm sure if we told him we wanted to elope, he'd give us his blessing.
Yeah, that is one option we have available to us, I guess. But my pride won't allow me to take the easy way out in this situation. I'm going to prove to your mom that I'm the only woman out there who's good enough for you.
Wow. You know, you're typically kind of quiet and avoid confrontation, but man, when you get your mind set on something, there's nothing in the world that could stop you. All right then, Alina, if that's the way you feel, then you go ahead and do what you need to do. We can put our wedding on hold for now, like you want, but if it's all right, could we work together on convincing my mom to accept our relationship? I don't want you to have to do it alone.
Thanks, Eugene. I appreciate you being so understanding. My goal is to have everything settled before the end of the year. Do you think you could handle waiting until then?
Well, I've heard everything from Eugene, Alina. I see you've finally given up on your ridiculous attempt to marry my son.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I haven't given up on Eugene by a long shot. We're only breaking off our engagement. Technically, you could say that we've broken up, but I still have every intention to marry Eugene.
And here I was thinking you finally saw reason. What a silly little girl you are. You peasant types never know when to quit, do you? It's embarrassing to watch. Every single word you say makes me more and more confident I was right about you, Alina. You're not up to snuff to marry into this family.
Speaking of which, I had something I wanted to ask you about. When you say I'm not up to snuff, what does that mean specifically? What would you consider being up to snuff?
What?
It's clear that this is a subjective judgment by you, so I'd like you to clarify what you mean by that. More specifically, what would I have to do in order to get you to accept me as a suitable wife for Eugene? I'm very much in love with Eugene, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes for you to approve of me. So what about me isn't up to snuff? What would I have to do to become up to snuff?
I don't see why I should have to explain myself to the likes of you, but since you're being so obnoxiously persistent, I'll humor you. I'm talking about money, you dolt. If you don't have at least a similar net worth to ours, then there's no way I could ever consider you as up to snuff for my Eugene.
Ah, I see. So let me see if I have this correct. You're saying that I need to have as much money as your family does, right?
Isn't that what I just told you? Yes. If you had as much money as my family does, then I would accept your relationship. Not that a pathetic little peasant girl like yourself could ever do that. It would take you 1,000 years, maybe even 10,000.
You really think it would take that long?
Oh no. Are you going to tell me that you're going to go right now and start saving up money until you have as much as my family does? You must have dropped out of high school or something. Basic math skills would tell you that's impossible. You could save $1,000 a month every month for the rest of your life, and it still wouldn't be enough, you idiot. It's clear to me now why you thought you deserved to marry my Eugene. You're not living in reality. You're living in some peasant fantasy world.
Huh?
Did you forget what I told you before? I come from a line of successful entrepreneurs. He's retired now, but my grandfather ran the family business he inherited from his father. Eugene now runs that company, and he's grown our family's wealth and influence to a far greater level than it ever has been. My husband is a successful businessman in his own right. He built his own company from the ground up, and it's now one of the most successful companies in the area. When you add up our real estate and other liquid assets, our net worth is positively astronomical, something the likes of you could never possibly comprehend. I would make a conservative estimate of our total net worth at around 50 million.
50 million, huh? I see. You're right, that is quite a lot of money. It definitely would be difficult to build up that kind of wealth from scratch.
Do you see now, peasant girl? Are you finally prepared to give up on marrying Eugene? No matter how hard you work, no matter how hard you save, no matter what you do, there is no possible way that you will ever end up being up to snuff for this family. Now, go and marry some poor man who's just as poor as you are. You'll find plenty of them downtown on the street, living in cardboard boxes.
Nah, no thanks. I'm gonna go ahead and marry Eugene. After all, my family meets your criteria of being up to snuff, so you shouldn't have any problem with us getting married. Isn't that great news?
What on earth are you talking about? I give up. I surrender. You are totally hopeless. Even after all this time, you still think your pathetic, impoverished family is worthy of associating with mine.
You said we'd need to have a net worth of 50 million, right? We've got plenty more than that. I was actually kind of surprised you set your standards so low, to be honest. I had no idea you'd be so reasonable. Now that that's settled, Eugene and I can go back to preparing for our wedding.
Are you out of your mind? Do you have any idea how much money 50 million is? If you make 1,000 a day, it would take you over 100 years to save that much. There's no way a family as poor as yours could ever have that much money. It's mathematically impossible. What are you going to try and tell me now? Have you just been pretending to be a poor family, and the truth is that you're actually fabulously wealthy?
Yeah, actually we are. My family may not live too extravagantly, but the truth is we are quite wealthy. You said you were descended from nobility, isn't that right? Me too. I have royal blood.
Wait, you have royal blood? What do you mean?
It's surprising to hear, huh? Imagine how I felt the first time my parents told me about it. They sat me down one day when I was old enough to understand and broke the news to me. I didn't even believe them at first. I started laughing. I thought it was all some kind of prank.
I don't believe that story either. That's all a lot of nonsense. Clearly your parents are just lying to you to make you feel better about being in abject poverty. I mean, think about it, Alina. If your family were really royalty, why on earth would you be living in a place like this? I can't believe you actually took such a ridiculous story seriously.
Believe it or not, it's the truth. But my grandfather was actually a member of an Arabian royal family. And as for why we're living here, we moved over here when my grandpa died, before I was born.
Are you being serious right now?
My grandmother was from around here, but she went on a trip in the Middle East after graduating from high school. While she was there, my grandpa saw her while he was out on the town disguised as a commoner to get away from their mansion for a while and instantly fell in love with her. So, yeah, he went up and talked to her, and long story short, my grandma became a princess.
A princess?
To be fair, it's not like she was the only princess. My grandpa wasn't even in line to inherit the throne, so she was never going to be the queen or anything. But being royalty, they had enough money to live wherever they wanted, however they wanted, with no issues. Their happiness was short-lived, though. Shortly after their son, my dad, was born, my grandpa passed away in a tragic accident. So my grandma had a discussion with the rest of the royal family about what to do, and in the end, they all agreed that it would be for the best for my grandma to move back here with my dad. They made a deal with her. In exchange for inheriting all of her husband's share of their family's assets, she would renounce her and my dad's royal status. They obviously didn't want some distant relatives coming around in the future all of a sudden making a claim to the throne, you see.
That sounds like something out of a movie.
Needless to say, the money that she inherited was more than enough for her to raise my dad by herself. She also invested that money well, and so her fortune just kept growing and growing and growing. And as a result of that, my family's estate is just about as big as yours is.
I don't believe this. It can't be true. If you really had that much money, you'd surely be living a much more luxurious lifestyle than you are now. Your house, your clothes, your car, everything you own is so painfully middle class.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, I guess my family just never really had much of a taste for luxury. Plus, the only reason we had all that money was because my grandma married into royalty. It seemed like it would be disrespectful to my grandpa's memory if we just went and squandered it all on expensive junk.
But
you, on the other hand, are one incredible person, Katrina. All your family's money is from the hard work of your grandparents, your parents, your husband, and your son. You haven't worked a day in your life, have you? But you have absolutely no problem lording your family's wealth over other people despite doing nothing at all to contribute to it. That's incredible.
What did you just say? Are you trying to insult me, Alina?
Insult you? Oh, perish the thought. I'd never dream of insulting you. I'm just impressed with how uninhibited you are, that's all. If it were me, I'd never be able to act like you do. I'd be way too ashamed. But you don't seem like it bothers you at all. That's incredible.
You are insulting me, aren't you?
In any case, everything I've just said is true. So my family meets your criteria. We have just as much, if not more, money to our names as your family does. So what do you say to that, Katrina? Is my family up to snuff? Do you still object to me and Eugene getting married?
Oh, that. Well,
If you don't believe me yet, that's fine. I can prove everything if you want me to. I can go and get some bank statements showing a detailed breakdown of my family's assets. My grandma can show you the pictures from their wedding with the whole royal family together, too. You should see her dress. It was gorgeous. Oh, wait, that's right. You told me that I was never welcome at your house again because my presence might lower neighborhood real estate values. How about I give all the documents to Eugene and have him bring them to you? Would you prefer doing it that way? Anyway, I'm gonna go and get everything ready. I'll let Eugene know when I'm done.
I can't believe it. You were telling the truth. You really are descended from royalty. Oh, and your grandmother's dress really was gorgeous. I'd love to wear a dress like that. And all the bank documentation checked out, so you really are just as wealthy as we are. I admit that now.
Well, thank you very much for believing me, Katrina. Can I take this to mean that you now no longer have any objections to Eugene and I getting married? Is that right?
Of course, go right ahead, dear. Now that I know the truth, I don't have any more reason to oppose your relationship. Quite the contrary, I'd be thrilled for my son to marry a woman of such high stature as yourself. We would love to welcome you into our family as a daughter-in-law.
Isn't that generous of you?
Oh, do listen, though, dear. The truth is, on the inside, I've always been completely supportive of your relationship. Really, all I've ever wanted was for my darling son to marry the woman he loved, and for the two of you to live happily ever after. It's just that, well, you understand, don't you? I had to consider the social standing of my family. I had no choice but to object. It's not that I wanted to get in between you two. I wished that there was some way you could be together. I'm sorry for calling you things like poor, peasant, pauper, impoverished, middle class, idiot, dolt, and, well, all the other nasty things I said to you. I never meant a single word of it, Alina. You understand that, don't you?
Wow, this is quite a change of heart for you. It's almost like I'm speaking to a completely different person.
I can say the same about you. Now that I know the truth, I wouldn't want Eugene to marry any woman in the world except you. I'm so glad that you'll finally be able to get married. Ever since the day you walked into our house, I thought that the two of you were so perfect for each other.
Well, thanks for that. Although it seems odd that you would throw a cup of tea all over the woman who you thought was perfect for your son.
Oh, that silly old story. Oh, let's just forget that ugly incident ever happened. What's important is that now you and my son are getting married. So we need to get working on planning the wedding right away. I'd say this calls for a lavish celebration. We're going to have a wedding fit for a princess.
Nah, that's all right. We're gonna have a small, simple wedding with just the immediate family members. Me and Eugene don't really care that much about fancy food, decorations, that sort of thing.
Don't be ridiculous, I insist. We're going to have a wedding that puts your grandparents one to shame. After all, neither of our families are hurting for money. We should have the kind of party that people of our economic class have.
Really, Katrina, it's fine. We don't need that. We don't want that either.
I have a friend of a friend who knows the designer who designs dresses for a number of Hollywood actresses. We'll have them make your dress. And of course, I'll want a dress too. What do you think, Alina? What kind of dress are you going to buy for me? Oh, do you think you could ask for one of your grandmother's in-laws to make me one?
Hold on. You want me to buy a dress for you?
Well, obviously, yes. After all, I did consent to you marrying my son, didn't I? You want to show your appreciation to me for that, don't you? With a fortune like yours, you can surely afford to splurge a little on such a special occasion. I'd say something in the neighborhood of 30,000 would suffice.
I'm not spending $30,000 or even $300 on a dress for you, Mom. I'm not even going to invite you to our wedding, so leave Alina alone. Never bother her again.
Huh? Wait, did you just call me Mom? Eugene, is that you? Are you with Alina right now?
Yeah, I am. We've been having an important talk about our future, and we've made our decision. I'm cutting you out of my life, and we're just going to have a small wedding for our immediate family. Nothing that we do from now on is any concern of yours, so don't butt into our affairs.
Eugene, what are you saying? You're cutting me out of your life? You can't do that to me. And how can you refuse to invite your own mother to your wedding? Why are you acting like this all of a sudden?
You want to know why, Mom? Go ahead and think back on everything you've done to us so far. You've done nothing but insult, demean, and mock my fiancé, the woman who I chose to spend the rest of my life with. Not only that, you threw a cup of tea on her and threw her out of the house. Honestly, I don't know where you get off even thinking you have the right to talk to Alina at all after doing something like that.
But I just told Alina that I didn't mean it. I never wanted to oppose your relationship. I just had to. Everything I did was to protect you, Eugene.
Oh, shut up. I don't want to hear any more lame excuses out of you, Mom. It took way too long, but I'm grateful that you finally came to accept the fact that we're going to be together. That doesn't change anything, though. Once Alina and I are officially married, I'm never speaking to you again.
Eugene, no.
When we have kids, you're not ever going to meet them. You're going to grow old, sad, and alone because of what you've done. And the best part, you're not even going to have all the money you love so much to keep you company.
How can you talk so cruelly to your own mother, Eugene? And besides, you're wrong. I won't die poor and alone. I still have your father with me, and as long as I have him, then I won't be in need of company or money. Why would you say such a ridiculous thing?
I wouldn't be so sure of that if I were you, Mom. I doubt Dad is gonna be as willing to support you as you think he is.
What? What do you mean?
I mean that I'm not the only one who's completely fed up with you over this. Dad, Grandpa, and even Grandma are all just as furious at you as I am. I had a talk with all of them before coming here to talk with Alina today. Dad's considering divorcing you, and Grandpa is saying that he's hurt that you would be treating the wealth he built as if it were your own.
What? Hold on. Oh, this doesn't make any sense. Divorce? Divorce? Why would that old fool go and say something like that all of a sudden?
This isn't sudden. He's been thinking about it for quite some time now.
But that's...
It's true that we're wealthier than most people. We're literally the 1%ers people get so mad at these days. But you've been looking down on and mistreating other people just because of our economic status. Every snide remark you've made about people with less money than us has pushed Dad one step closer to where he is now. You haven't noticed? You sleep in the same bed as him.
I had no idea. But wait, he always told me that I could buy whatever I wanted, go wherever I wanted, do whatever I wanted. He even bought that lovely cottage for me just a short while ago.
That was just his way of not having to deal with you. He was just saying earlier that it gives him a headache just having to talk to you these days.
He did?
And think about it, Mom. Why do you think Grandpa gave the company to me? Don't you think it was odd that he would completely skip over you, his own daughter, and hand ownership and control of his company straight over to me?
Well, that's because I've never been much for working. All I've ever been is a housewife.
Yeah, that's all you've ever done, and you can't even do that well. You don't even do the housework. You hire a maid service to do all of that for you. You've never shown any desire, interest, or capability of running the company. A skilled businessman like Grandpa could easily see that you'd run the company straight into the ground. So tell me, Mom, exactly what is the point of keeping you around anyway? All you do all day, every day, is spend our money and insult other people. But you weren't satisfied with that. No, you also had to butt into your son's relationship and try to get his fiancé to break up with him. Conversely, can you think of a reason for Dad not to divorce you?
Well...
Why don't you take some time off from being an elitist jerk and think about just what sort of position you're in? All you are is someone lucky enough to be born into a wealthy family and marry a successful man. What would you do if you got kicked to the curb? You'd be living in a cardboard box by the day's end.
No. Oh, this can't be happening. I can't get divorced at my age. I wouldn't be able to live the life of a commoner. It would kill me.
Then I guess you had better do whatever you need to do to keep Dad from divorcing you. If that is, there's anything that you can do about it at this point.
Oh no. Oh, this is terrible. What am I going to do?
You should have thought about that before you went and tried to make my fiancé break up with me. And just to make myself crystal clear, I don't ever want you talking to Alina ever again. Do you understand that? We're not inviting you to the wedding, and you're not allowed to come to our new house once it's built. If you ever try to come and talk to us, I'll throw a cup of tea at you and throw you out the door, just like you did to Alina.
Eugene and I finally got married and had the small family-only service that we wanted. Just like we told her, we didn't invite her to the wedding. Instead, she stayed at home doing housework all day by herself. I wonder how long it's been since she's actually done any housework by herself. She's used to having the maid service do everything for her. Seems that it was a massive shock to her system when Eugene told her he was cutting her out of his life. After that, she went to her husband and her parents and arranged a time for them to talk things out. First, Eugene demanded that she send me a letter of apology immediately. Second, her husband told her that she's on final notice. He wouldn't divorce her right away, but if she didn't change her ways, then he would divorce her in a heartbeat. Third, her parents said that she wouldn't receive a single penny of inheritance from them unless she got a job for herself. Like Eugene said to her in that last text exchange, her husband and parents were fed up with her too, and they weren't going to take it anymore. She's currently working on the cleaning staff at her husband's company. Apparently, he didn't just give her the job. She had to go through the interview process like everyone else. I hope this teaches her a lesson about the value of money and hard work.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.
Hey Rick, do you have time to talk real quick? I was just wondering if you knew anything about these toys in our house.
Toys? What are you talking about, Helen?
Well, I just mean that I was cleaning around the house, and I went into the closet in our room. And I found a bunch of action figures and clothes that a little boy would wear. Do you have any idea what these are? Because we don't have a son, just a daughter that likes to nap a lot.
Okay, first of all, you shouldn't be poking around other people's stuff. I mean, don't you care at all about privacy? What is the matter with you stupid woman?
Excuse me? I just told you that I was busy cleaning the house. That includes the room. You've got some nerve talking to me like that when I am working so hard to take care of our kids and keep the house clean. Especially after the way that you yelled at me about how dirty the house was. You literally told me that I should request time off work to clean.
Oh, just shut up already. All I'm telling you to do is not go rifling through my stuff without permission. When I say clean the house, that doesn't mean go through all my stuff as if it's yours.
You really mean to tell me that you wouldn't be mad if I cleaned all the house but your room? Besides, all I want to know is what these clothes and toys are and what they're doing here. Did you forget that we had a little girl or something like that?
Of course I didn't do anything like that at all. I just bought all those things for Nina. I just haven't had time to give her those, and that's all. And that's why I left them in the closet for now.
So you're telling me that you get all these boys' clothes and toys for our daughter?
You really need to wake up. We're living in the 21st century. You can't just be putting all these expectations on children because of the gender. Don't you know that girls can like to play with action figures too? And boys' clothes are more neutral these days than anything else, so girls can wear them if they want.
Yeah, I guess you have a point there. But it still doesn't mean that all of this isn't very odd. And I guess more than anything, I had no idea that you were so progressive in that sense. Especially since I don't think you've ever bought Nina a piece of clothing or a toy before.
Well, I guess I'm full of surprises then, aren't I? But that's your fault for not thinking that I was capable of taking in new ideas or adapting to new times. Anyways, now that you know those are all for Nina, just leave them alone and don't touch them.
Helen, are you there? Just how long are you going to be staying out tonight, huh? I am really starting to hit the limits of my patience here. Come here and pick up your kid right now. Erica, what in the world are you talking about? And why are you texting me this late at night? Are you kidding me? Are you really telling me that you're that irresponsible that you don't even know I'm talking about your kid here? Just how long are you going to make me watch Nina for, huh? Can you please just hurry up and pick her up? I want to go to bed. I'm sorry, Erica, but I'm still really confused. I have no idea what you're talking about at all. I have no idea why you're even pretending to play dumb with this. Do you really expect me to hold on to her until morning? Because I am simply not going to go along with that. And just why do you think you can use me like a babysitting service this frequently anyways? Because I am getting sick of having to always be the one who watches over Nina. Erica, I really still have no clue what this is all about. What this is about is the fact that my house is not some free daycare service, okay? Now, just hurry up and come and get your kid from me. But Nina is here at home, sleeping, right next to me. What are you talking about? I mean that my daughter Nina is literally here right next to me, fast asleep. So I have no idea who I would be going to pick up if I went to your house, because I only have one daughter, and it's Nina. But then, wait, you're telling me that you only have a little girl? Yeah, that's right. Of course, Nina has male cousins like your son. But are you sure that you're not mistaking her for someone else? I remember you saying that so many relatives were having so many kids that it was getting difficult to keep track of them. But it was Rick that brought this kid to me. He brought them here and asked me to watch them. What do you mean Rick brought you this kid? Well, at first I tried telling him no, and that I'm really no good with kids. But he just wouldn't listen and did what he always does, leave them on my doorstep for me to watch anyway. And so, anyways, I've been taking care of this kid all day and all night. And now it's past midnight, and I want someone to come and pick him up. I see. But Rick had to leave for a business trip this morning. I even saw him off, and he was all dressed up for work. Wait, what? But I thought today was your anniversary. I thought that was why I was watching this kid in the first place. No, it's not our anniversary at all. That happened months ago. And we went out as a family to go eat somewhere together. But then, hold on. I don't get it. Just whose kid is this that I've been taking care of then? Well, whatever is going on here, I can head to your place right now. Because apparently, Rick does have something to do with this. I'm going to wake up Nina to bring her too, so hold on for a second. Hey Rick, I'm really sorry to be calling you so late like this, but Nina said she really wanted to hear your voice. So that's why I was trying to call.
Oh, well, that's just a bit cute. I mean, I barely even left the house. But I don't think now is a good time for me to come to the phone. So if you could just please tell Nina that, and that I'll talk to her soon. That would be great.
But why can't you pick up the phone right now? I mean, I know you're on a business trip and all, but it's almost 2 a.m. I can't imagine that work is keeping you so busy that that's why you're still up, right?
Actually, one of the guys I came here with made some pretty big mistakes, so I'm in the room with him helping him fix this mess. I didn't actually go on this trip by myself, you know. They sent me with someone else from the office.
Oh, really? I didn't know that you had someone else there, but I feel like that's kind of odd for your company to send 2 people like that.
I guess if they wanted this to be a kind of learning opportunity for this other guy. But anyways, that's the reason why I can't talk on the phone right now, but I can send you the photos I've taken. Maybe you can show that to Nina to get her to quiet down for a while.
A picture, huh? Yeah, that could work. Why not send me a picture of you and your coworker together? I'm sure that Nina would love to see who you're there with.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, come on. It's already so late. Just do this now and I'm sure it'll be enough for Nina. Unless you can't because there isn't any coworker there, because you're just having a plain old affair right now. So go ahead and send me a photo of you and this other woman.
Wait, Helen, you've got this all wrong. I mean, you don't really think that I'm out cheating on you, do you?
I don't think, Rick. I know for a fact. So don't even bother trying to lie to me about that. I already know all of what's going on here. And I know that you dropped off this woman's kid with your sister to watch over while you were gone. But you also told Erica that you were going to be away on a business trip.
Oh, shoot. Well, I guess there isn't really much use in trying to hide anything from you now, is there?
You know, I got a call from your sister asking me to go and pick up our kid from her house. But Nina was in the house with me. And when I did go to her house, there was some little boy there that I had never seen. Which means that those toys and clothes I found earlier had to be for this kid. Am I right?
No. You really do have this all wrong. And this boy has nothing to do with those things you found in the closet earlier.
Okay then. Why don't you go ahead and tell me the truth then? You said yourself that I found out everything, right?
Did I? That was just a typo. You know my fat thumbs with this tiny keyboard, right? The fact is that I'm not having an affair or anything like that with you.
But you just said that I found out the truth and that you were.
I know, but I was lying. I really am just away on a business trip. And the person I'm with is nothing but a coworker.
Okay, well then what about the boy that you asked Erica to watch for you? What do you have to say about him?
Right, that boy. Well, obviously he's my coworker's kid. And I had to ask Erica to watch him while we were away on the business trip.
Oh, really? Because Erica has told me that this isn't the first or even the second time she had to watch this little boy.
Well, that's because my coworker has a really hard time trying to find a good babysitting service. I mean, things are so expensive these days, you know? And so I just wanted to try and help out as someone who was supposed to be giving them this training.
So you're really going to try sticking to this coworker's story of yours then? I guess I can just call your work first thing tomorrow and find out the truth myself.
Wait, what? Come on, you don't have to go and do that.
Well, I wouldn't, but there's just one thing that's not adding up. One of this little boy's backpack, one of his parents' contact information is written down. And it says that this little boy's mom is a woman named Delilah Brown. So are you still going to keep pretending that this is just some coworker's kid?
Okay, wait. Please, just don't jump to any conclusions. And whatever you do, don't call my company. They have nothing to do with this.
Well, I could figure out that much by myself. But I really doubt that they would like to hear of the trouble you've caused, all in the name of going on business trip for your company.
You wouldn't really report anything about this to them, would you?
I'm going to give you one last chance to tell the truth, Rick. Now tell me whose child this is. If you tell me right now, then I won't tell your company.
It's the son of the woman that I've been having an affair with. Dear, are you happy?
Now that we have that settled, I want you to come back here right away. You and I have a lot to talk about.
You mean you want me to go all the way back home right now? But it's the middle of the night. How am I supposed to do that?
I guess you had better hire an Uber or something, because I want you and this Delilah lady here right now.
I don't believe this. This can't be happening.
It is, and I know that you've been lying to me about this for a long, long time. But I never would have thought that you were cheating on me. And then to force your sister to watch this woman's kid while you two go away together? You really are just an idiot, do you know that? And this Delilah woman sounds like a real piece of work too. I mean, entrusting her child to some stranger so she can go fool around with you? It's awful.
Wait, no, you don't get it. The thing is that Erica's actually the kid's aunt.
What do you mean by that?
Well, Delilah's son is also my son.
I don't believe it. You mean to tell me that you've been hiding the secret child from me this whole time? And what about our daughter? What about our family?
Well, I mean, you know that I love you too, but this kind of just happened.
I don't even know what to say. I am beyond anger at this point. But you two need to get back here right now. We need to settle this once and for all.
Erica, come on. Open the door, please. I came back and you're still not going to let me back in the house?
Tell me, Rick, do you have any idea what time it is? I thought Helen told you to get back here first thing in the morning. Well, it is almost evening. Besides, if you're looking for Helen, she isn't here. Her and Nina are both not here, in fact.
But then, where are they? Why am I here?
You're here because you were always dumping your son on me to watch him. When I told Helen about what was going on, at least she offered to pay for all the free labor that you had gotten out of him. In fact, she told me exactly where you hid all the money that you thought nobody else knew about. And when I opened up your safe, I saw that you had $3,000 stashed away. So I took all that money as back payment for the child watching services I did for you.
You took all of my money? You've got to be kidding me. But fine, whatever. Can you at least tell me where my wife and kid are right now? Just let me in the house so we can talk about this.
I'm sorry, but you are not going to be getting in this house. I don't want to see your dirty, cheating face ever again, in fact. In fact, if I did let you in, I can tell you that I wouldn't be able to hold back from socking you right in the face. But if you really must know, your wife and kid are back at her parents' house where they are safe from you. She actually dropped by in the afternoon to see if you had come, but I told her that you still hadn't shown up. I think she did want to talk to you about all of this, but when she thought you were cowering out of it, she gave up and went back to her parents' house. And no, I don't think that she ever wants to talk to you ever again.
You've got this all wrong. I mean, I said the wrong things. And I tried to come back in time, but there was nothing leaving that would have let me arrive any sooner.
Why don't you just go and tell your wife all these excuses to her instead of me? Because I really don't care how you try and justify any of this to yourself.
So then, you really think that if I go to her parents' house that Helen would talk to me?
Why on earth do you think I would have the answer to that question? And not that you've asked about your other child, but he's with our parents, so you can go and pick him up as well.
Wait a second. Does that mean that Mom and Dad know all about what's going on there?
That's right, and they were not happy to learn what you had been up to. So it sounds to me like you've got a lot to deal with. Hey, I finished signing my portion of the divorce papers, so I'll be sending them to you to sign. And you should know that I'm going to be suing you and Delilah for your affair. Not to mention the fact that you're going to have to pay child support.
Please, don't do this to me, Helen. You have to know this is all just one big mistake.
No, trust. I know just what a mistake being with you was now. But that's why we're getting a divorce. And once we're through with it, I'm going to block you on everything and never talk to you again.
Please, you have to reconsider. You can't do this to me. I mean, I don't want to lose you and Nina.
Why? What does it matter when you have a whole other family you can go home to? A whole other wife and kid even. I don't see why you need Nina and I around.
But you don't get it. Delilah's kid isn't actually mine. We're not connected by blood at all.
What are you talking about? The other day you told me that he was your son.
I know, but it was only after that Delilah told me that it was a lie and that we weren't related at all. He's some other guy's son. So I was being lied to this whole time too.
You have got to be kidding me.
Well, the thing is that when you said you were going to leave me, I was sure that I had no other choice but to marry Delilah. But then she went and admitted that her son was never mine and that she also was lying to me about that.
So then you and that boy really aren't related at all?
If what Delilah says can be trusted, I guess not. But I already knew that she had some other men on the side, so I'm not all that surprised. Although I guess she lost contact with the father before she could make him take responsibility, so that's why she told me the kid was mine.
So then you tricked me and you were being tricked by her. But surely you must have had some sense that the kid wasn't your son, right?
What makes you say that?
Because you still call the child yours. It's clear that even if you two aren't related by blood, that you still feel like a father to this boy.
Well, that isn't my fault. She tricked me into being there for him. But the only real child of mine is Nina, so please don't take her away from me.
If you didn't want this to happen, then you should have never cheated on me in the first place. Now hurry up and sign the divorce papers, or else I'm never going to let you even have visiting rights with Nina.
You wouldn't really do that to me, would you?
Of course I would. Do you have any idea just how betrayed I feel right now? It's like my whole married life has been a lie because of the way you tricked me. But you didn't just trick me. You even lied to your sister and roped her into watching Delilah's son so that the two of you could go and carry on your affair. You ruined the trust you had with so many people who loved and cared about you. And for what? Well, I don't want to hear any more excuses from you. You are going to take responsibility for what you've done, divorce me, pay the alimony and child support, and that is that. Now, the next time you hear from me, it will be to discuss when our lawyers can meet. But until then, I don't want to hear, see, or even have to think about you. After that, Rick finally saw the light and agreed to divorce me without putting up any more of a fight. I was really worried that he was going to drag this process out. His parents, however, were so furious with him that they practically forced him to sign the papers. By the time it was all done, Rick was so ashamed that he just wanted to pay everything at once so as to never deal with either of us again. I wasn't even sure when he would be able to visit with Nina in his state, but that meant that he had to pay alimony, the legal fees from the lawsuit, as well as child support in a lump sum that left him drowning in debt. Rick wasn't the only one being sued, however. I also sued Delilah for her affair with my husband. In court, she tried to talk to me mother to mother and explain that she wouldn't be able to afford such hefty fines and still be able to take care of her son. But I just told her that as a mother, it was her job to explain to her son why this was happening. She realized I was going to show no mercy and ended up paying the court's fine in full. I hear that Rick still goes to Delilah's house now and then and plays with her son. I don't know what's going on in his head at all, but I think this might be his way of trying to make up for all the lives he ruined with his foolishness.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.